Welcome, everyone. Day 11 of our retreat. We've had such a day filled with a great workout and we've talked a lot about parenting today and relationships. And I can't think of someone better equipped to share with us about conscious parenting and really being in the moment. And I am so excited for Julie to share about her background and what she does and to just bless us with her time. But I know that I've gotten the gift of listening to her before and learning from her, and I've applied some of those, you know topics and ways of doing things, and it's really just made my parenting a better experience. So I'm so excited for everyone that gets to hear this. So Julie, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you, Renee. I'm so grateful to be here just to share the impact of conscious parenting in my life and how valuable it is with all ages, and kind of what we are all embracing now is a lot of home life. What could be better than to embrace, you know, being with our children a little bit more consciously? So, how conscious parenting came into my life was about 6 years ago. I was really in the depths of single parenting, three children, daughters that have minds of their own, and couldn't wait to take the match and trigger every wound that I had, and everything that I knew was not working. And I found this amazing woman, Shafali Taspari, that came out with this book, Conscious Parent, and I read it and took every course I could possibly find and realized that it was me that really needed the shift. It wasn't my kids' behaviors. I can promise you, I went to the library and found every book on how to get the kids to listen, how to the children's behavior be good, how to make them this way, how to do this. And there was no right answer. So I dove into the conscious parent, and sure enough, 6 years later, I got certified to teach other moms how to raise their children a little bit more consciously. And it's really been the gift that keeps on giving. Um, it has changed my life. I'm a mom to three daughters that are now 17, 14, 12. So I'm in the throes of teen parenting. I have three stepchildren that are 16, 13, and 11, um, which are amazing to parent. And just watching what they have taught me up until this moment is my biggest shift and my biggest celebration, because there's no way I would be here today with you guys if I had not have trained in conscious parenting. I probably, Lord knows. My parents raised me with a lot of fear and a lot of control-based hierarchical techniques, and I almost had to unlearn everything that they only taught me because that was all they knew, and kind of realize that I am more of essence, I am energy, I am consciousness in the moment. And whenever I am in the moment, I am such a better parent, and there's no guilt. And so to be able to teach other moms and dads how to parent without guilt, without judgment, with total authenticity has become a passion of mine. So I am so excited to be here with you guys and share every experience. I was coaching a family, um, you know, kind of through Zoom, and the dad was coming in for mealtime, and this 3-year-old was, dancing around the table. It was mealtime. She wasn't interested in eating. And the dad was just like, come on, sit down for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let me just take 3 bites, take 5 bites. I mean, he was desperate to get this kid to eat when he wanted him to her to eat. And I was watching and observing, and he left the room. About 10 minutes later, I came in. I sat next to this 3-year-old and started playing patty cake with her and just connected with her for 30 seconds. Right after that, the kid was eating like nobody's business. Nobody was telling her what to do. Nobody had their own timeline. It was all up to this 3-year-old. And it was just a moment of bliss, because I know connecting with the child first before correcting is always the way to parent. Um, so I just couldn't wait to share with you guys all these techniques, and it works for all ages. You come into this COVID experience with so much fear, so much anxiety, want to plan, want to know the unknown, what's going to happen, how long are these kids home? There's a lot of anxiety going on in the parents. And when you parent from fear and anxiety, your children see right through you, and they are very present beings. It's the parents that are always in the future that you kind of have to bring back to the present moment to really connect with the child. So I guess my motto right now is connection versus correction. And you see just an unbelievable difference. You are kind of a little bit more balanced, you're more present. Consciousness means coming into the moment with the energy as is. So you really have to pay attention to what's going on with you. And when you are in fear or when you are anxious about something, it's very difficult to parent in the present moment. So I am here to be your guidance counselor to some degree and help parents create more tools of how to parent the children that they're home with 24 hours a day. We're working from home. We are trying to shepherd the kids to be good children and polite children and social children and clean up your room kind of children and help out. And, we want all these blissful moments in parenting our children. And as you can see, the virus is kind of taken over. So we've lost a little control. And so I am here to just gift you with tools galore of how to connect more with your children. So that's my spiel for the moment. And I always like to just check in and take a minute. And I love watching your faces and love knowing what is kind of sunk in for you, how you feel in this moment when I talk about consciousness. Does it go over your head? Does it feel like something you really want to attune to? What is going on?
So, Julie, something I love that you've said, and I've repeated it, and I've totally given you credit. You talk about so much of our parenting is like either the future, like what we want to see from them, or what kind of a reflection we want our child to be, or bring things from the past. And maybe we're still stuck in the past, but we're often never in the present. We've talked a lot about that today. And I think that I remember you saying the greatest gift that we can give them is actually like hearing them right then and not thinking about like ignoring their feelings in the moment, and just taking a second and not trying to get things so perfect, like correct, but really just connect with them. And it's not always easy to do. We have to be rested. We have to, I think what I've learned is I have to be in a place to be able to do that. Like we have to work on ourselves to be able to be that way. But it was so powerful. Can you say that again? I love the way you say that. You say it so beautifully, eloquently.
So kids, thank you, Renee, for bringing that up, because that is really the foundation of consciousness, is how to know what's going on in you in that moment before, reasoning, reacting, responding to your child. Children are always in the present moment. Always, even if they're goofing off, they're throwing a temper tantrum, they're chatty Cathy's, they are busy doing Legos, whatever it is, children are always in the present moment. What happens with parents when they really want their child to be doing that they think they should be doing or they should not be doing, they immediately lose moment, to be able to connect to the child, and they're already in the future. So the child and the parent are a little bit misaligned. And it's very hard because the parent is going after the behavior of the child versus connecting to the child's essence. The three reasons why kids stop listening to their parents is because the parents and the children are misaligned. One, the parents are always in the future. Two, the parent needs to be right. They need to be heard, and the child doesn't want to hear the parent. So the child tunes you out. And the third reason is they want to be validated. The child just wants to be heard, even if it's to say, I hear you. I see that you're frustrated that the Lego is not going your way. Um, you know, the parent likes to fix everything. The parent likes to control everything. The parent likes to be right. And it's very frustrating for a kid that really wants to shine in that moment and be able to just even fail and have the parent acknowledge, wow, I really see you want to do that on your own. Why don't we do this for 5 minutes and then I'll get you started and you can go on your merry way. But it's really all about the parent just knowing what's going on inside of them. And if they're coming from an anxious mindset or a scarcity or lack or fear or self-doubt, the child sees right through you because the child is in the present moment. All the parent is bringing is the unconsciousness that was taught to them or a future-based thought that hasn't even happened yet. So yes, Renee, you do have to do your due diligence and really be in the right space in the moment. And if that's even saying to your child, hey, Jack, I need 5 minutes, or hey, Jack, let me get my thoughts together. I'll be with you in 2 minutes. I need to breathe. Whatever it is, we talked about pausing a little bit last time and how valuable pausing is, because a child will see that your self-worth of checking in within you before responding to the child is valuable. So you are teaching so much to the kid when you parent from essence and you're parenting from a present state of mind. But yes, it is very hard to do, and it does require a lot of practice, but that's all we have is practice. We only have the present moment. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We have to show up with our energy each and every moment. And our job is not to make the kids happy. Our job is not to have our kids smiling all the time. Our job is just to honor the kid in the moment for whatever the kid is going through. Hope that answers your question.
I have a question, Julie. Do you have any advice on sleep? So we've kind of had a regression and I've talked to so many people, but I'm curious as to your advice as to what you would recommend. Because so Jordan, it's not Logan, it's Jordan, is waking up multiple times a night. She's having anxiety, she's having fears. So do you have any suggestions?
Yes, is such a great question because this is a perfect example of how kids are really showing you something through a behavior, but they're having a little bit of a deeper feeling with it. And whether it's they're waking up in the middle of the night, or they're having trouble going to bed, or they're picky eaters or sensitivities, whatever it is, it's our job as a parent to not make them sleep through the night, but just allow them to the space for them to feel safe, secure, and nurtured. And, if Jordan maybe needs to take some of her strengths, I don't know if she likes to draw, but, anything you can reflect in a diagram and visual picture. What does it look like when a child sleeps through the night? What does it look like when a child wakes up through the night? You really want to gather as much feeling from the child as you can. And again, it is more frustrating for the parent that the child is not sleeping through the night than it probably is for the child. But just allowing the space, in creative ways. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's writing down 4 words, sadness, worry, what back to school means, what's going on right now, and let her draw a picture underneath the word. But it is basically really about the child feeling safe to express their feeling in that moment. Remember, we can't fix, our kids' anxieties. We can only give them the space to talk about it, give them the words, give them the feelings when maybe we feel anxious and maybe we don't sleep through the night. A child, I think, really needs more of a dance partner versus someone, to tell them what's best for them or what they need to do. And I mean, I can probably give you 5 or 6 tools with just a few more questions about Jordan, but just something, on the spot is just for her to draw what it looks like when she sleeps, what it looks like when her friends sleep. What does it look like going back to school? And, really having her, get creative with what's going on inside of her will maybe bring more of what she's struggling with to the surface. And then it's a little bit more transparent to talk about.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Julie, I have a question too, but remember, I have the older kids.
Yes, we got cut off last
Yeah, I
time.
know. I can't even remember what it was. But my 19-year-old, she's the baby, but she's not here right now, so I'm telling you, I've been struggling with her to clean her room.
Yes.
And I know, I mean, I can't with messes. I can't, like, my brain, I can't. It just makes me very upset. Like, I just can't handle it. So what do I do about that? A lot of people are like, well, it's her room, don't just close the door and don't look, but she hasn't even unpacked. So today we got in this fight and I had to turn off the cable, and she's older. So I don't know. I take things away. She doesn't, she's like, I don't care. I'll do it later. And she never does. And it's just been.
So Stephanie, it's such a good question because all ages of these kids and teenagers especially aren't that neat, and they don't really clean up behind themselves, and they eat and leave messes, and it's very frustrating. So what I would ask you is, what is your biggest fear with her not cleaning her room? What are you most worried about?
Um, I think actually it's for me because it causes me a lot of anxiety
Mhm.
and like this clutter everywhere and we're home all the time and we don't have any structure, she can't work, I don't know. It's just like clean your room. You're sitting here doing nothing and I don't know. I do her laundry, I'm like, I'll do your laundry. Here it is. You fold it and you put it away. And it's just
I get it. I get it. It's very frustrating.
Or are
So
you
the
supposed to
first
just let their room be? Like I've heard a lot of parents say, just let their room be. That's their, they can live in a pigsty.
Well, I think the first and foremost is what's coming up in you that is really making you feel like she needs to clean her room. She needs to do that. It should look this way. You know, an expectation is basically a premeditated resentment. It is all kinds of resentment. And then it turns into a lot of conditional love. I do your laundry, so you need to have your room clean. I go grocery shopping and have this food, so you need to do this. But what would it look like if you guys had a family meeting or whoever's home and you wrote down maybe 3 top things that really bother you, that you're struggling with, and 3 things that are wonderful that you love about your family, whether it's movie time, whether it's you eat meals together. But if you come up with 6 things that you are struggling with, 3 strengths, and your daughter does the same thing, what are 3 things that she really needs her mom to do? What are 3 things that maybe your daughter's willing to do? Maybe if you do not say anything to her about cleaning her room until Thursday, if you don't say anything till Thursday and you say at one time, what does that look like to your daughter? Your 19-year-old is gone from parenting. You cannot parent her anymore. So the best case scenario right now is really compromise and negotiation through valuing her strengths. I'm sure your daughter has a million strengths that she's really suppressed right now because, like you said, she can't work, she can't socialize. So what's happening is all those feelings are being suppressed, and it's kind of coming out maybe in our messy room or not, whatever it is. But the key to you guys not fighting is transparency. And if you are transparent about what really bothers you and what you're willing to work on a daily basis, maybe not nag her to clean her room every day. For example, I have to go to examples. I was nagging my 14-year-old to read. She's not a reader, and I really needed her to read. And every time I was telling her to read, I noticed this, you know how they do. And I sat with her and I said, okay, I really am bothered and really struggling with wanting you to read. What is it? What can I do to partner up with you reading? She said, you cannot tell me to read more than twice a day. And I said, okay. And I realized that I had to let go of so much projection and so much expectation of what I think she should do versus what's coming up in her. Sure enough, I mean, I have let go of nagging, and she was on the sofa reading a James Patterson book today. I'm like, what is happening? I had no idea. So it's really just showing up, being transparent, knowing that we cannot control these 14-year-olds, much less 19-year-olds. So you got to give a little.
Mm-hmm.
And you will do it without guilt because there won't be the aftermath of the throwing hands up in the air, exchanging words that you don't mean. And we go through it because we're parents that make a million mistakes. But when we expand our heart and we come through essence, we are really valuing our teenagers so they feel safe to say, this is what bothers me about you, Mom. This is what I don't like that you nag me about, Mom. But this is what I'm willing to do, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Negotiation.
And when I tell my husband to ask her, she'll do it. I'm serious. I'm like, he's out of town. Can you text her and tell her to clean her room? I mean, It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny, but
You
that's
know,
good.
it's so important to talk about because there is a million ways. You know, we have some dads that just have that relationship. You know, daughters love their dads. Dads can do no wrong in their daughters' eyes. I mean, that's just the way it goes for a while, but it doesn't mean that you're not as important as your husband and you don't deserve to be valued. But first, you really have to see what's going on in you. You really have to check your inner barometer before you are ready to show up for your adult daughter.
Mm-hmm. That's hard.
Yes, it is very hard. It is very hard, but you are really teaching her just unbelievable communication skills by just saying, you know I nag you about your room. I know that I'm triggered by your messy room. And it kind of takes down the ego to ego. I need this to be done. And the daughter saying, I'm not doing this for you. It doesn't matter to me. So you're kind of taking down the, you know, ready to war and showing that, hey, this really bothers me. Is there a way we can negotiate or, you know, compromise? So you kind of take your,
That's a good one.
it's
My part's
hard.
always been the toughest.
The third one is the toughest. You have two boys and a girl, right?
No, girl, boy, girl.
Oh, girl, boy, girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You are just such a wealth of knowledge. How can people connect with you um, if they, want to work with you one on one or just be a part of your community?
So I am loving doing free Zoom sessions right now. I love talking about conscious parenting. I love getting questions. I love giving examples. And I love talking about the shift of unconsciousness to consciousness. So I could do that all day for free. I mean, anytime. But conscious parenting is a commitment. And it really requires you to commit to daily practices, doing coaching sessions. I am here just to guide you from a place of fear to a place of belonging in your best self. So, what I like to do is work with people, you know, once a week, do some check ins. I love giving homework that just kind of is more self-satisfying and finding your own worth so that you're better equipped with your son or daughter. And we just do a few sessions, make sure we're the right match. I am Julie at atlantaconsciousparenting.com. I can share my phone number. I'm in the middle of making a new website that is just more user friendly. So hopefully that will be going soon. But any questions I can answer, you can call me, you can email me. I am happy to talk conscious parenting because it's so new and innovative, and we are really seeing what it's like raising kids that have their own essence. It is a constant change. So, anytime a parent calls me, shows so much courage that I want to help them all the time. This is my lifelong passion, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to talk conscious parenting. So it is sessions, it is coaching, but it's nothing like therapy. It always comes back to the present moment. And you really do see immediate shifts like you just wouldn't believe it.
Well, thank you so much for taking time for us during our retreat and for being an expert. And we are so grateful to you and
Wow.
your delight.
So nice. I love being here with women that really take a